people slowly come into him, it is Aphelios, right? This is what that champion
Yeah.
is built around. He wants people to come at him. It's just about, can you overwhelm the Aphelios? Do you think that Curtain Call has the tools to overwhelm, or do you think that for the side of Runtime they've actually drafted themselves solid defense here?
Solid defense, absolutely. If Curtain Call need to get an early game lead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for them to get onto Aphelios. They need to steamroll early game or get at least some picks or objective control in order to make things happen early, because Runtime, their draft is steady and it's going to build up as the game goes on, and it'll get harder and harder to get onto him.
Uh, so, in order to build that early lead, who do you think has priority in the lanes? Let's start with the top side.
Priority in top lane, Camille will have the priority. In jungle, that's very Lee Sin can do it all.
Yeah.
So Olaf is an early game jungler anyway. Mid lane is just you push my lane and my wave and I push yours.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the mid lane where if they can manage their waves properly and rotate with the jungler. Same with the supports, and I think that's what's gonna show early game who has the upper hand.
What about in the bot lane? Who do you think of those two AD carries wins out early on? And does the support picks also factor into who takes priority down there?
Yes, I see. I think early game we're gonna see a lot of pushing from Curtain Core Gaming, especially like for pre 6 minutes, because of Morgana's W, Varus's push. But it won't be that much that where they're spending most of their time on the tower. It'll be sort of even. But I expect Curtain Core Gaming to be pushing the wave bot lane.
Okay. Well, we're getting slowly into the game here. I talked about it a little bit before. So do you see any level 1 shenanigans? Like, do you think like, oh, this team is actually really, really good level 1?
Runtime is really good level 1 because you got Olaf Axe. If that hits, like it's a free chase. You
It's
either
a
burn
death
some,
sentence, and then they
yeah,
also have the Thresh with a death sentence. So
yeah. Yes, you have Morgana's Q or Morgana's E, but if that axe hits more than one person, that's a definitely flash at least,
Yeah.
if not a kill.
Yeah. So potentially here some level 1 shenanigans. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, these teams actually play in the group with United War Unicorns, who are basically the level 1 kings of this league, right? They look really, really good at level 1, and they have some really interesting strategies. And maybe Group A is the group where that sort of like seeps into every other team. Because they're all playing against United War Unicorns, they all think about it more. They're all trying to adapt to it more, and that might put some more pressure, put some new ideas in there. Is there something that you prefer as like, what do you think is like the preferred level 1 strategy?
They'll have to do 5 points. They'll just defend. I don't see any shenanigans coming in because of the stake of the game. Because you can, if you mess up early, just like I said, either game you're gonna blow up the lead and it's just gonna be doomed. And I don't expect any shenanigans to happen because of the magnitude of the game.
Yeah.
But I would love to see what happens if these teams go out at level 1. But I think Runtime have a better early level 1.
Okay, well, I think that is a very interesting point. I mean, I've been personally a big fan of that ward kill level 1. I think we've seen that especially coming out from Fnatic to give your solo laners just a little bit of extra XP so that it can actually hit level 2 first after just a single wave. So I think that's a very interesting strategy, and also something that we've seen countered by placing the ward so late that the other jungler can't recall in time, pick up the sweeper, or actually place it so late that not both laners can actually pick that up. So I think that has been some very interesting development that we've seen throughout SLE, something that I'm personally a big fan of, because I love to see that all the teams get better, they adapt. That sort of like creativity is
Yeah,
really,
I
really
mean, I've seen junglers where they're channeling their recall. I do it myself, and then you channel a couple of seconds, before 1 minute, and your recall finishes at 1 minute. And as you're going back, you can drop a ward and it doesn't cancel your recall. So that's maximizing, and then you get a sweeper and you literally get a free ward early game.
Well, the
That's the
stakes
tractor
could
jungler.
not be bigger for this game, right? This is the final matchup that actually matters for the standings. And yeah, the stakes could literally not be bigger. It's about forcing a huge tiebreaker, a 3-1, between Curtain Call Gaming on the blue side, Runtime on the red side here. I'm excited to hop into this game.
I am excited. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a spicy one.
Does anything surprise you in terms of the keystone choices? Or that Olaf, maybe?
Let me have a look. What
Just the
does Olaf? That's
spicy.
spicy. Maybe he knows something that we don't.
Yeah, he also does not have flash, by the way. The Olaf
That's
doesn't.
he just wants to run them down, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is fine if that's the
Guys, the
case.
duck. Did you see it? The duck.
Yes.
There it is.
Not many people spot that one.
It is there. Finally, the myth of the duck can actually. We've seen it on stream, guys. That makes me terribly, terribly happy. So, you talked about the 5-point defense. The two teams electing to go for slightly different setups, but both of them staying safe here. You said that you're expecting both of them to stay safe. Let's actually see where both of the junglers start and what kind of leash they will receive here. Before we get into that, does anything surprise you about the items? I mean, we have the mana crystal on Rise.
That's standard. But the path thing that you're looking at this right now, Lee Sin starting blue side, so you can instantly see he's gonna be coming bot lane. Whereas Olaf is looking to full clear or maybe play for top side early game, which that's what he wants to do. But as you can see, Konfu's already looking to make things happen, whereas Olaf is looking to just relax and scale up with his team. Well, not personally, but as a team scale up.
Well, we are starting to see the second waves here slowly trickling into the side lanes as it's been pretty quiet so far, pretty calm. Both of the teams certainly realizing the magnitude that you had mentioned. I'm a big fan of this new Varus skin, and I also like that Ophelia skin is actually like probably my favorite skin in the game. Just a small little tidbit, as Poppy actually has a lot of top lane priority. So Olaf not really having the most amount of leverage, but if that wave actually bounces back, Camille could find herself pretty vulnerable to a gank, as both of them actually fully cleared their blue sides here. Both of them now on the Raptors. We see both Lee Sin and Olaf clearing the Raptors. Olaf being slightly faster than the Lee Sin here, who's just I mean, it's Lee Sin versus Olaf. Doesn't surprise us to see that there's a big bit of a difference. But yeah, both of the junglers now on their reds. Quite quiet so far. As both of the scuttle crabs will spawn, and what do you expect?
I expect some shenanigans in the next 2 minutes. Because if you look at the way Konfu's pathing and the way he was doing his camps, you can tell he's already looking to make things happen. Whereas Olaf is just more of a laid-back approach.
Well, we do see 2 wards placed down here for early vision control down towards the bot side, as both of the junglers do now clear their scuttle crabs respectively. They both find themselves some extra gold, and it's super, super even. I don't know if Lee Sin will, because of the wards, will find that early advantage, as Lunam actually trades very well here with Indrax, who's losing out a little bit in terms of mana, in terms of health, but has also beaten Lunam's mana bar here. So there's not a lot of threat immediately coming out, as now we see a shift in vision control early on towards the top side here, right? The wards are littered throughout the river, in that top lane river, and Lee Sin is now looking to recall.
This tells me they don't know where Lee Sin is because of that ward. That he started blue side. See, the pings are coming. They think Olaf is on that side, but Olaf is currently on Crux.
Yeah, I
So
think that they're
maybe
not
he's looking
expecting
to,
that he's
yeah.
a little bit slower, and they could actually find some potential opening because of that here, as Olaf sneaks himself in here. Camille now sees the Olaf walking over the wood that she placed down, but the aggression will dissipate here, as now Lee Sin is slightly ahead. Indrax already coming back from his first recall, has picked himself up a tier and nothing else, as all of the corrupting potion stacks for Lunam are down now. Wow, what a recall here from Indrax, right? We mentioned that he was losing out a little bit on the trades, but the timing at which he chooses to recall means that he's still only down 4 CS and already has himself the tier, his health bar fully back, and I mean his potion, his mana bar. So a very, very good recall here coming in from the side of Indrax, who I mentioned is really, really comfortable on that rise. And
Yeah, a
looks
little
good.
misplay by Oriana. She didn't hold the wave and recall and come back when Rise did.
Yeah.
So now she's forced to stay with no mana.
Well, she's not actually choosing to stay here, as her TP is of course available, so that could be what they're looking for here, as Indrax is looking to shove in the wave, and the lane priority in the bot lane that we mentioned means that after a very quiet start in the early game, they do actually secure themselves that first dragon. Alex Big Show continually trading very well up here with Curious Cat, but misses that wall dive after the initial hookshot part, and Olaf is now down towards the bot side and is falling behind in camps a little bit further and further, as we see some more trades coming in here from Alex Big Show, who has hit level 6. This does look potential solo kill, and the Poppy W is activated. She does also hit the level 6 now, as the Ignite from the Kimono comes out here, and now the Poppy ult is channeled. He knocks him away and just barely survives.
That was very, very close. I thought that was going to be the first blood.
It might not be over, as Alex Big Show does have no mana, and no flash means that Curious Cat is forced to actually utilize his in order to escape from that wall dive.
That was really, really close. Now you get a free push and a free recall at top lane, because Poppy stayed a little bit, little bit over.
Yeah, she tried to actually try to recover her wave state, and unsuccessful in doing so means that her TP is forced out here, as Alex Big Show does have no mana left. For the side of Asta, he's now clearing his blue buff, so trying to make up some of the tempo that he lost earlier. Well, obviously Olaf continuing to do his jungle faster and faster, as most junglers do. Both of them having picked up their Iron Spike whips here, and Lee Sin with that extra ruby crystal.
Olaf will not be able to keep up with farm when it comes to farm game with Lee Sin, so he'll need to. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I thought that the Olaf has actually very, very good clear, and is now potentially looking for something on Indrax here, as both melees do have their ultimate available. But this does look like a very, very calm game here, potentially the calmest game of SLE that we have seen so far, as both teams are really trying to feel themselves out and realizing that magnitude we've been mentioning.
I think they don't want to overcommit on something. They don't want to throw the game away.
Well, we
so
say
they're
that
being very
now
cautious.
Asta is here in mid lane. Phase Rush popped here for the side of Indrax, and the Kung Fu is here to maybe answer the play. Both of them having their, or all four of them having their ults available, having their summoners available.
You already see Morgana come in. This is what I meant by the rotation. Whoever gets the upper hand in the support rotation.
Well, that binding does go wide, as Lunam is under a bit of scrutiny here. Kick Flash comes in, and this is why he picks the Lee Sin, and he makes that first blood happen. Once again, also the side of New Power comes in here and actually leverages enough pressure.
Yeah, a little bit of misread by the Oriana team, because they would have known Morgana was coming and Lee Sin was still around. So she should have paid a bit more respect.
Well, she did not even flash in the end, as she was rooted down by the Ryze, who obviously has a very good availability of that. Now the Olaf is looking to ghost here and maybe try to catch Indrax out, but he just walks away.
Doesn't even burn summoner spells, Ryze. So that's a massive cooldown now, early game, especially level 1 ulti cooldown on Olaf.
Well, now we do see that Kung Fu has also once again made his way down in that bot side river, as the only camp available for him right now are his Krugs. Scuttle Crab not being up at the moment, as now the Flay comes in here from the side of Runtime as they're trying to force the kill onto Kaliba, who does barely manage to survive. And now Penuzo is under a lot of scrutiny, does not find the kill on Nupa quite yet. And that means with the TP coming in here, they will just finish off the Aphelios.
Yeah, this is what we meant. That you're gonna see a lot of early game pressure from the side of Curtain Call Gaming. They need to create those leads.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw here. But Olaf is trying to cut the losses and trying to get some. Yeah, he's already got Herald, so yeah,
he does have himself the early game Herald here. Now that is a great objective, and we don't see enough teams actually contesting for that. In higher levels of play, we do see a lot of Rift Herald swaps around the 8-minute mark, but so far it's not been a big objective here in SLE. And it's also not been something that has been hugely impactful when actually picked up, so maybe some of the teams could look to leverage that more, as they do now secure themselves the Rift Herald you have mentioned here. Farm leads for that top lane has shrunk a little bit, still around the 10 CS mark, as the biggest CS difference we see is in that jungle.
That's correct, yeah. This is what I meant. Lee Sin will make things happen, will farm faster than Olaf.
Yeah.
So he does need to... well, he's got Herald now.
Coming in here down towards the bot side as Penuzo is walking into the river to the comfort of the rocked Olaf, who used that a little bit prematurely, but none of the skill shots really connecting in a meaningful way so far. Orianna also making her way down there, makes this a 4v4. Kung Fu goes in with a beautiful insect onto that Olaf, who finds himself then caught out. Now Indrax also flashes out. This man's Lee Sin is incredible, but the fight is not over yet as the shockwave is already down. Here is Cat once again knocking the Camille out of her ultimate and actually survives up towards the top side. Hook onto new power, but the spell shield is in time, so even though he does hit it, nothing quite coming from it.
That was a very risky play by Lee Sin, but it worked out. When they started running, I thought if, Aphelios would have cleaned it up, but it was executed well. I guess they got out.
Are not available for that Aphelios, and that actually very much limits the tools that he does have available for himself. And another turret plate going down here for the side of Curtain Call Gaming, up towards the top side. Yeah, it was a close fight, certainly, but the playmaking coming out from Kung Fu here, this time with a Warthog. What a play, right? Crazy good kick here with that insect maneuver. Really looking to make that comfort shine.
We know he's capable of it. This is why you don't give him the Lee Sin.
Yeah.
But that was really good. This is what you want from Curtain Call Gaming. They have to make these plays. They cannot allow Runtime to scale up.
Well, the tempo does come out in favor of Runtime here, as Olaf has already reset. I mean, I say reset when he came out of base after dying, but they are now first for that dragon here. So tempo coming out for the side of Runtime here, as Lee Sin has not recalled yet, but is instead trying to take the Raptors here from the Olaf.
Yeah, good Prio use bot lane. So the moment they have Prio, he goes to do Drake. Lee Sin knows it's probably happening, so he's trying to take whatever he can from top side.
But Skywalker, or Asta, as he's actually called, or so I've heard, as we see actually very good defensive play coming out from Curious Cat up towards the top side, losing out on that experience. As I say that, Alex Big Show does like his odds, as Kung Fu has made his way up here. Not fully reset yet, and they're kind of playing ring around the rosy, as finally Kung Fu makes his way into the lane. Now Curious Cat is in a lot of trouble, as the W comes in too late, and the Sonic Wave dissipates after the W does, and so he follows him, and they find another kill here. Play after play after play coming out from Kung Fu. Okay, well, the fights might not be over quite yet. As,
well, he's doing Drake down the bot lane. You expect Lee Sin to be on the top side. Even though there was vision there, but a little bit of overstep. But this is why you get Herald.
But all of the gold goes into the Olaf, and that is certainly painful, because you would want that gold on Orianna and not the Olaf. So, unfortunate player still has made his way back into the mid lane here. Certainly looked good the first time around that this happened. How does he not have a kill participation of 4 here? What happened? What happened to Kung Fu? Why does he only have 3? So he kicks He kicks the mid lane guy, the Orianna. He kicks the
Yeah.
bot lane play. Ah,
The-
okay. But in the play where the TP came in down towards the bot side, I believe that he did not find the assist. As this time around, he collects him, but certainly did make that play happen somewhat.
Yeah, he was there. He was there. He was the one pulling the trigger.
Yeah, interesting. But he did not end up receiving that assist. A little bit funny. To be quite
Yeah.
honest with you. But Zill also having that same kill participation, and Indrax, once again, he's not really looking to be that selfish sort of mid laner, but the team play that we see coming out as, I think this is potential solo kill territory here for the side of Alex Big Show, who certainly looked very good in that top lane matchup. Yeah, but this is really like a facilitating mid laner, the Niski type, that tries to make things happen for his team. We're very impressed with what I'm seeing here so far from Indrax.
But you see, Alex Big Show, he's got his Divine Sunder ready online. Lee Sin got his Gore Drinker. The the other team are a bit behind an item, probably half an item behind, all of them. So you see the first core items coming through for the side of
Top
Curtain
lane lead
Core.
is actually massive. The biggest
Yeah.
one in the game with that we see so far. About over 1,000 gold, but maybe Asta can make something happen here. As this time around, the W does land from the Poppy, but Asta was not quite expecting it, so did path a little bit backward. Now, once again, another TP here coming out from the side of Indrax, who tries to facilitate his team. The Poppy does knock the Camille back once again, but Kung Fu is here to try to leverage something out of it. And the kick comes in and actually finishes off Asta here. And Kung Fu, man, and Indrax, oh my goodness, this guy is really making it happen.
This is team play. The moment one fights, they all turn up. You see the Morgana also rotating. You see everybody turning up. Well, the Runtime didn't have the numbers to fight that. You don't really get anything apart from the first, well, just one turret. They'll lose a lot more now because they could even potentially go for the Herald.
Well, the first turret even dropped in favor of Curtain Call Gaming, right? So even though they do lose that bot lane turret, it's merely a trade and an unfavorable one, even in terms of turrets, as all of the trades so far have gone into Curtain Call's favor. We didn't mention that's what they have to do, right?
They have to, yes. And they are doing it. They got themselves a nice almost 4K gold lead. And they're online. They can literally fight and win fights now. Whereas Runtime need a bit more items.
Well, the Immortal Shieldbow does come in for Panuzo, who's set up as sort of the DPS carry for that team, right? That's their win condition. They want to play front to back for the side of Runtime here, and Aphelios completing his mythic item will certainly aid that, as Alex Big Show, now having made his way down here, New Power or Zill actually trying to look for this binding here, does land it, and that means that the Thresh does just drop dead here. Now they're trying to continue the aggression as Ragnarok comes out to dissipate the stun from that Camille hookshot, but Indrax does a ton of damage, and Caliber fires the arrow and actually finds that kill. Beautiful setup. Man, Indrax is looking great today.
They are here to make a statement. They're like, we are going to Division 1.
Yeah. Well, this is obviously the objective for them, and they're trying to make that happen with every pick, with every action on the map. Having a really, really dominant early game start here, and find themselves their second dragon, and start stacking up towards that mountain soul here.
I think what Runtime need to do, they need to slow the game down. They need to...
both of the buffs actually going over for the side of the Lee Sin here, so even though they find themselves all of the kills here, they also find themselves both buffs, and this does put the Olaf further and further behind. And while we don't want the Olaf to collect all of the gold, he does certainly need his buffs, and the jungle camps themselves.
He has he's a level down. He's trying to... I expect him to get Herald here.
Kung Fu might look for the kick onto Lunam here, as the kick, the flash does come out from the side of the Orianna. Kung Fu having that flash available, but does not elect to go for this. As now Alex Big Show finds himself two people up towards the top.
He dies here.
The ultimate is not available for him here, as I zoom in a little bit. Kung Fu meanwhile also finding a kill down bot, and the Olaf dies, as you're saying, and Alex Big Show now looking for more and more aggression. The ultimate does come in from the Poppy, because that ultimate for Camille was actually back available. If that hook doesn't land, he just Rs that Poppy ult and actually gets to probably kill the Thresh. And now it's looking worse and worse because even in a 1 versus 3, Alex is the big show and finds that solo kill.
Alex is almost unkillable now. And so is Comfort. Olaf is just out of the game now. He just has to be just a meat shield. That's all he can do. He will hardly get back into the game now.
What is the one, or if there was one win condition that the side of Runtime still has for themselves, how do you think they achieve that here?
Build around Aphelios. Build the Olaf, including Poppy, Thresh, just heal. The moment Aphelios dies, it's game over. But there's a massive gold lead.
How can they answer the Camille in the side lane here? As this time around, Zill does actually get hooked, so the Black Shield not in time, and so the Zhonya's will be burned here or the stopwatch rather does flash away, as Asta does not have his own flash. Now the Ragnarok is dissipated, so they do find the Chains of Corruption onto oh my god, that arrow damage was disgusting. And now the Aphelios is caught out as well. Does have the flash available, but with the slow coming out from the Camille does mean that even Penuzo falls once again, and it's 12-0. And Runtime are just being torn apart from the side of Curtain Call Gaming as they want to go to Division 1. Starting up the Baron at 20 minutes and 40 seconds. They just want to hammer this game home.
They want to finish this early. They must have somewhere to go. Because the way they're playing, it's quick, it's fast, effective League of Legends.
My goodness. And in less than 20 seconds, they kill a 20-minute Baron. That is disgraceful damage here coming out from the side of Curtain Call Gaming, who find themselves advantage after advantage. How the heck are you supposed to answer that Camille in the side lane now?
You don't. You just hope and pray now. As for Poppy, she's just going to a long lane, especially. Orianna does not answer that. She will instantly die. Poppy's the closest one.
Hextech Ultimatum is not quite off cooldown yet, so even though Alex Big Show does find himself a couple of HP that he's missing here, his ultimate will come up just momentarily, and that means that the playmaking still continues. I didn't actually see what the realm orb was used for here, as now Alex Big Show is looking to go in here. Hextech Ultimatum not coming in to block the Orianna ult, but oh my god, the damage from Alex is disgusting. And now he's looking for more kills. He finds himself both of the kills, and Indrax is just here to congratulate him for killing both of them.
Really good play by Alex here. And like I said, there's no way in any world that Orianna even matches side lane.
This wasn't even like mechanically clean. This was just the sheer raw damage coming out from that level 15 Camille. He's level 15 at 22 minutes, dude. I'm getting scared.
He's 2 levels on Poppy.
On anyone?
Yeah, well, yeah. He's got almost 6 levels on Thresh. So
that's just a funny little tidbit, right?
Yeah.
My god, Curtain Call Gaming, what are you doing to these people? They want to play here. As we do have to say, right, Penuzo farming up very, very well. This is one of the first times that I'm actually happy to see the amount of CS in these AD carry positions, as there has been some sort of negligence. Oh, Thresh, you're in danger here, as Kung Fu has already landed the resonating wave, and they are just playing around with him. They're even autoing the ward. This is almost a little bit disrespectful here. Both of the controllers also cleared right before that dragon, and this third dragon also going in favor of Curtain Call Gaming. I don't even have to say who it goes in favor of anymore, because there's been nothing going right for the side of Runtime here, except for the Aphelios, yes. Good job.
Yeah, they don't even have a kill yet. So
oh my god.
No.
This is danger mode. Blackshirt already coming out, but the kick not quite utilized here, as he did not have the flash available. So the kick does go a little bit amiss. A nice little shockwave here coming out from Luna, and new power snipes Penuzo with that dark binding. That did like 500 damage.
Yeah, but did you see that was Aphelios without getting peeled, and he almost made
Oh
things
my
happen.
god, now Kung Fu
Oh,
falls as the first member, but they're still diving this as everyone from the side of Runtime is just getting murdered here from Curtain Call Gaming. This is a statement game. Kaliba even changing his name because he is so invested into this team. And I have to say, everyone from the side of Curtain Call Gaming is just on the same page here. And as I say that, they're now looking to end it at 24 minutes into the game. Pinuzo is available, does not have the flash, however. The TP is utilized here, and because the Dark Binding lands, root after root connects, and so that does mean that Pinuzo falls, and that means that the Nexus falls as well here for the side of Curtain Call Gaming. They are not autoing at the moment, but they want to go home, and my goodness, that was insanity.
that was crazy. But this is what shows you a draft, a comp against comfort picks. But it was really well executed by Curtain Call Gaming.
Yeah, it was. It was. As I think that we maybe have the opportunity to get an interview from one of the Curtain Call players if they want to talk to us here. Yeah, congratulations on going to Division One. Some commiserations go out towards Runtime, who find themselves in Division Two now. They had an interesting idea for a draft. They had some clean CSing, especially from the side of Pinuzo, who looked really, really good. And I think that our interview is ready here. And I welcome to the casters Kung Fu Division 1, baby. How do you feel?
Pretty good, well, obviously really good, right?
Yeah. Wow, what a game. You got the Lee Sin once again, and you got that rise. And I was just. You were the only one in your team that died. You
I
are.
was indeed, and we actually said at some point in our comms that
Uh,
um like who dies first, it's gonna be so embarrassing, right? And I did end up dying first, but it doesn't matter, at that point we just ended the game, so
but
it's fine.
perfect KDAs from every other member, and I think that even though you did die once, obviously it's a bit of a meme, but like, oh my goodness, this was just sheer dominance. You looked amazing. Your forcing in the early game was just outstanding, and that rise, man. You talked to me a little bit about on Supreme Talent. You talked to me about how you feel that Indrax is so good on the rise and facilitating other people, right? And my goodness, that was amazing.
It was indeed, and to be honest, I mean, I think we won from the draft.
Yeah,
Like the game was over minute zero because we all, like every single one of the players in my team, including myself,
yeah,
we got a comfort pick in a good matchup.
yeah,
So how are we going to lose that? My ADC gets his Varus, my support gets his Morgana into a Thresh Aphelios. That's a
yeah.
good matchup for them. My mid laner gets Risewell into anything, he's gonna do good.
I mean, rise
Um,
into something that doesn't punish the rise.
yeah, I mean, also, I was really confused. Like, I first picked Lee Sin, right, because it was open, and
Mm,
they responded with Olaf. Like, they counterpicked themselves. That was a bit confusing to me. I was like, we were thinking that's Olaf top lane
mm.
because, you know,
I
it
also
wouldn't go
considered
jungle.
it, and that's why you banned the Warwick, correct?
Well, we banned the Warwick because we actually realized Olaf is going jungle looking at OPGGs,
Oh, okay.
and our top laner wanted to blind pick Camille, and he wanted to play into, like, we saw their OPGGs, right? Their last games
Mm,
played, and
mm,
their top laner did play Warwick a lot. And since we wanted to blind pick his comfort pick Camille,
yeah.
we would just ban out the Warwick since it's a really good matchup into Camille.
Well, thank you for your insight there. That's obviously really, really interesting, right? And I mean, you guys made Division One. You look absolutely amazing. Teams have been hyping you up behind the scenes and obviously on the podcast as well. Um, who are you excited to face in Division One? Me
Well,
myself.
we actually are really excited to play actual SLE games against Momentum, of course, their
Mm.
tournament favorites, and we want to change that.
Well, you did certainly make a statement, yeah. And if there's any way of starting that narrative of changing the favorite, this was the game to do it. Thank you so much for coming on today. Congratulations once again to you and your team. I'm very,
Thank you.
very excited to see you in the future. You have a good day,
Thank you.
man.
Good day.
Wow, that was That was amazing, Seiji. I think I
That
have.
was like the man said, comfort picks.
Yeah.
Sometimes the comps can be right if you can't execute them.
Hmm.
There's no point to them. And comfort picks, people naturally know how to execute them.
Well,
Now
thank you for coming on. We're gonna have a game later as well. I think we'll see who is gonna be casting that. I think it's between Crown of the Ruin King and NSG Ruin Nation. I think there's nothing that they're
that's a
playing.
banger of a game.
You're excited for it?
Yeah, I am. I'm
Okay.
looking forward to that one.
Well, I think that before the game, we'll actually also have someone from Crown of the Ruin King on to tell us a little bit about the journey that put them where they are right now. And yeah, I'm excited. Thank you guys for coming, as I do have to sneeze. Oh, excuse
Thank
me.
you very much, guys.
That was a funny interaction there. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming in. We'll see you guys later. Enjoy the Fnatic Mad Lions match in the meantime, as I'll also be tuning into that. See you later, guys. Bye bye.